Welcome to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these top 5 ultra-rare Susan B. Anthony, Sacagawea and Kennedy half-dollar coins that are most valuable than you think, so don't spend one them. You are lucky if you have one of these. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that many of you may have a roll of tucked away, perhaps overlooked, but it has stories and surprises for the savvy collector. We're talking about the 1979 $1 coin featuring Susan B. Anthony, struck by the United States Mint. It's the dollar coin that broke new ground, being the first U.S. circulating coin to depict a real woman. And yet, despite its historic title, most of these coins quietly pass for face value. But let me tell you, there are versions, errors, and varieties that turn an everyday coin into something far more intriguing. Picture this: it's 1979, and the U.S. has just introduced this new dollar coin, the Susan B. Anthony dollar. At first glance it looks modest, but for coin collectors it opens a world of detail. The standard 1979 P. Philadelphia Mint was minted in huge numbers, over 360 million, and the 1979 D. Denver produced around 288 million. That means most examples are common. Antiques know how. +2 coin, identifier.com +2. But here's what gives the coin its collector appeal: varieties and errors. For example, the 1979 P comes in 2 rim types, a narrow rim, also called the far date, and a wide rim, near date, variety. The wide rim variety, where the date appears closer to the rim, is significantly scarcer and therefore more sought after. Coin identifier.com +1. And then the error coins: coins struck off center, wrong planchet, clipped planchets, double strikes, and weird mint mark mistakes. These differentiate the just $1 coins from the I may have something special coins. For example, one 1979 P struck on a dime planchet sold for over $10,000 in auction. US coins value +1. So if you're a coin lover, pay attention. Hold a coin up and ask yourself, what mint mark does it have? Is the date close to the rim, wide rim, or further in, narrow rim? Are there any oddities in strike or planchet? These subtle details make all the difference. Now let's talk more about the value. For most 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollars in circulated condition, they trade at or just above their face value, $1, because of their massive mintage and relatively low demand. Reddit, however, when in uncirculated condition and especially when they show the rarer variety, wide rim, or have a significant error, values climb. For instance, a 1979 P wide rim in MS65 grade might fetch in the hundreds of dollars. Coin value checker +1. And now for the real market price and auction value. In plain words, typical circulated coins are still worth around $1. But special varieties, for example a 1979 P wide rim, near date, in mint state, or an error variant, can go for thousands of dollars at auction. Indeed, some of the rare error 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollars have been documented to sell for $10,000 or more. So if you have one of these coins tucked away, check that mint mark, inspect the rim width and look carefully for any odd strike or damage. You could be holding more than just spare change. Enjoy the hunt, appreciate the history, and if you spot that rare variety, you might just find a gem. Top 2. We are diving deep into the story of one of the most fascinating modern coins ever made by the United States Mint, the 2000 P Sacagawea $1 coin. This golden beauty might look like just another dollar coin at first glance, but trust me, some of these coins have shocked collectors around the world with their incredible rarity, hidden errors, and unbelievable market values. So coin lovers, listen very carefully, because what looks like an ordinary coin could actually be worth a small fortune hiding right in your pocket or coin jar. The Sacagawea dollar was first released in the year 2000. It was designed to replace the Susan B. Anthony dollar, which had been unpopular because it looked too similar to a quarter. The U.S. Mint wanted something bold and beautiful, and so they created this golden dollar featuring the Native American woman Sacagawea, the brave Shoshone guide who helped Lewis and Clark explore the American West. On her shoulder, you can see her infant son, Jean Baptiste, a powerful image of courage and motherhood. The reverse side features a soaring eagle surrounded by 17 stars, representing the 17 states that existed when Sacagawea guided the explorers. Now, here's where the story gets exciting. Not all 2000p Sacagawea dollars are the same. Some of these coins carry unique errors or differences that make them incredibly rare, and incredibly valuable. Most of the coins minted in Philadelphia with the P mint mark are worth only face value if they circulated. But a few of them, because of minting mistakes or special issues, are worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The most famous of these is the legendary 2000p Sacagawea dollar mule error. This happened when the U.S. Mint accidentally struck the obverse of a Washington quarter, with George Washington's head, on the same planchet as the reverse of a Sacagawea dollar. Imagine flipping the coin and seeing Washington on one side and the eagle reverse on the other. This was a complete minting accident, and only about 20 of these coins are known to exist. Collectors went crazy when the first one was discovered. Each time one appears at auction, it becomes headline news. One of these rare mule errors has sold for an incredible $192,000, and experts believe that pristine examples could be worth up to $2 million today, but the mule error isn't the only one making the 2000p Sacagawea famous. There's also the Cheerios dollar, a version of the 2000p coin distributed by the U.S. Mint as part of a General Mills promotion before the coin was officially released. These coins were found inside Cheerios cereal boxes, but here's the twist: they had a slightly different reverse design. The eagle's tail feathers were more sharply defined, a detail that made these coins unique. Only a few hundred of these Cheerios dollars have ever been found, and collectors are always searching for them. Depending on their condition, these coins can sell for several $1,000s, sometimes reaching over $8,000 in top grades. Then, there's the wounded eagle variety, another fascinating minting error that appears on some 2000p coins. On the reverse side, a thin raised line runs diagonally through the eagle's body, almost like a scar. This happened because of a die gouge at the mint, and only a small number of these coins were released into circulation. Collectors consider this variety one of the most dramatic modern mint errors, and high-grade examples can bring several $1,000s at auction, and that's not all. Some 2000p Sacagawea dollars were struck on the wrong planchet, for example, on a golden-colored quarter planchet or even on a different metal blank entirely. These wrong planchet errors are extremely rare and can sell for tens of thousands of dollars depending on their grade and condition. Now, let's talk about value. For most 2000p Sacagawea dollars found in circulation, the value is simply $1. But for collectors, the story changes completely when you have one of the rare varieties. A Cheerios dollar in perfect mint state condition has sold for around $8,000. The Wounded Eagle variety has been auctioned for nearly $5,000 in high grades. And the king of them all, the 2000p mule error, has broken records, selling for $192,000 at auction, with some appraised at over $2 million in top condition. Top 3, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern coins ever struck by the United States Mint, the Sacagawea $1, also known by collectors as the Golden Dollar. But today, we're not talking about just any Sacagawea coin, we're talking about the rare editions that have captured the attention of collectors around the world, especially the 2020 Great Law of Peace reverse design and the legendary error coins that have sold for jaw-dropping prices. The story begins in the year 2000. When the U.S. Mint introduced a brand new $1 coin to honor Sacagawea, the brave Shoshone woman who guided the Lewis and Clark expedition. Her image, carrying her infant son Jean-Baptiste, was meant to symbolize courage, discovery, and peace. The coin's golden color came from a unique manganese brass composition, giving it a warm glow that stood out from every other coin in circulation. Now, fast forward to the Native American Dollar series, which began in 2009. Each year after that, the reverse of the coin changed to honor different contributions of Native American heritage. And among all of these yearly issues, one of the most remarkable is the 2020 Sacagawea dollar, the Great Law of Peace. This design pays tribute to the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, whose democratic principles inspired the very foundation of the U.S. Constitution. The reverse shows symbols representing unity among nations, bound together by the Great Tree of Peace, a message as powerful today as it was centuries ago. But here's where things get really exciting for coin lovers and collectors. Not all Sacagawea dollars are created equal. Some of these coins, because of rare minting errors or early design differences, are worth far more than face value. One of the most famous is the Cheerios dollar. Back in 1999, before the coin's official release, the Mint distributed a few thousand sample coins inside Cheerios cereal boxes as part of a promotion. These coins had an early prototype reverse with sharply detailed tail feathers on the eagle. Only a few hundred have ever been found, and those few have sold for thousands of dollars at auctions. If you find one of those in pristine condition, it could be worth more than a car. Then there's the Wounded Eagle variety, caused by a die gouge that runs across the eagle's body on the reverse. It looks like a scar, and that tiny flaw makes this version incredibly collectible. Coins with this error in high mint state condition have been known to sell for several $1,000s, but the king of all Sacagawea errors is the mule coin. This jaw-dropping mistake happened when a Sacagawea reverse was accidentally paired with the obverse of a Washington quarter. The result was a coin showing George Washington on the front and the soaring eagle on the back, something that should never have existed. Only about 20 of these are known, and collectors go absolutely wild for them. One of these incredible pieces sold at auction for an unbelievable $192,000. Another example, in pristine mint condition, was estimated to be worth over $2 million, making it one of the most valuable modern coins in U.S. history. Now, let's talk about the 2020 Great Law of Peace edition itself. While most of these coins are common, those struck with minting flaws, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet errors, can become extremely valuable. Collectors are especially drawn to coins with perfect strikes, full luster, and no blemishes. Even small imperfections can affect value, but a flawless example graded mint state 70 by PCGS or NGC can sell for hundreds of dollars. For ordinary circulation examples, the coin is still worth face value, just $1. But if you're lucky enough to find a Cheerios dollar, a Wounded Eagle, or that legendary mule error coin, you could be holding a small fortune. The top auction records for these coins range from a few $1,000s to well over $190,000, and the rarest known specimen is valued at over $2 million in today's collector market. Top 4, we are talking about one of America's most iconic coins, the United States of America Kennedy $half from the year 2000. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary 50-cent piece, but don't be fooled. Hidden among these coins are a few rare varieties and minting errors that have shocked collectors and turned pocket change into serious money. So coin lovers, listen carefully, because this is one of those stories that proves treasure can still be found in your own change. The Kennedy $half was first released in 1964, created as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy after his assassination. It instantly became a symbol of national pride and remembrance. Over the years, its composition changed. The earliest coins contained silver, but by 1971 the mint had switched to a copper-nickel blend. Even so, the Kennedy $half continued to be struck every year, though by 2000, it wasn't really seen in circulation anymore. Most were minted for collectors, meaning that finding one in your change is already something special. The 2000 Kennedy $half was made at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. You'll see a tiny letter, P or D, on the coin's obverse just below Kennedy's neck. While the regular coins are quite common, what makes some of them truly valuable are minting errors, special finishes, and proof strikes made for collectors. One of the most desirable versions of the 2000 Kennedy $half is the proof coin, struck at the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark. These proofs were made with mirrored surfaces and sharp details using specially polished dies. The Mint also produced a small number of silver proof sets containing Kennedy halves made of 90% silver. Because far fewer silver proofs were made, these coins already carry collector value, but the real excitement begins when we talk about errors. A few 2000 Kennedy halves left the mint with off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't perfectly aligned during minting. Depending on how dramatic the off-center is, these can bring big money. Another rare find is the double die obverse, where Kennedy's image or the lettering shows a noticeable doubling. The most striking examples, with clear doubling in the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," are very collectible. There are also wrong planchet errors, where the half-dollar design was accidentally struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, like a quarter or even a foreign coin blank. These mistakes are so rare that they almost never appear, but when they do, collectors will pay thousands for them. Some 2000 half-dollars have also been discovered with missing layers of metal, giving them an odd, dull color and lighter weight. Even these can bring in several $100s depending on condition. Another variety that collectors hunt for is the no mint mark proof error, where the S mint mark was accidentally left off the die during production. Only a few examples of no mint mark proofs from modern years are known, and they always sell for impressive prices when authenticated by grading services like PCGS or NGC. The value of your 2000 Kennedy half-dollar depends heavily on its type and condition. A regular circulated coin from Philadelphia or Denver is still worth 50 cents, just face value. A pristine, uncirculated piece graded mint state 70 can bring a modest premium of a few dollars. But silver-proof coins, struck in limited numbers, are already trading for strong collector prices. And when it comes to errors, that's where things get really exciting. An off-center strike or double die variety in top grade can fetch hundreds of dollars. A dramatic minting mistake such as a wrong planchet strike has sold at auction for over $1,500. The rare silver-proof coins in perfect condition have been auctioned for around $250. But the true standouts, the major double die and off-metal errors, have been recorded selling for $5,000 and even more when graded at the highest levels. Top 5, and last rare coin, we are talking about one of America's most beloved coins, the United States of America Kennedy half-dollar from the year 1998. At first glance, it might look like just another 50-cent piece, but some 1998 Kennedy halves hide secrets that can turn a simple coin into a valuable collector's treasure. Coin lovers, listen carefully, because this story is filled with rarity, mystery, and real money. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination. By 1998, the coin had already become an American classic, loved by collectors for its timeless design, Kennedy's bold portrait on the front and the presidential seal on the back. Most 1998 halves were struck in copper-nickel, but that year, something special happened. The U.S. Mint produced a few different versions that would become legendary among collectors. The regular 1998 P and 1998 D coins were made for circulation in Philadelphia and Denver. These are common and still show up in rolls or bank bags, though half-dollars rarely circulate anymore. But the real excitement is in the special mint issues and rare errors that can make these coins worth far more than face value. One of the most famous is the 1998 silver-proof Kennedy half-dollar. These coins were minted in San Francisco for collectors and struck in 90% silver. Their mirror-like finish and sharp details make them stunning to look at. But the story doesn't end there. The 1998 matte finish silver Kennedy, included only in the special 2-coin Robert F. Kennedy commemorative set, is one of the lowest mintage Kennedy halves ever made. Only about 62,000 of these coins exist, and collectors have been chasing them ever since. Then there are the minting errors that make some 1998 half-dollars incredibly valuable. One of the most exciting is the double die obverse, where Kennedy's image or the inscriptions show a clear doubling. If you see doubled letters in Liberty or In God We Trust, you might have something special. Off-center strikes, missing layers, or wrong planchet errors are also known from this year. A few coins were even struck on quarter planchets, making them smaller, thinner, and highly collectible. Collectors also look for proof coins with missing mint marks or with unusual toning from storage. Because proofs were handled differently, finding one with a major flaw is rare, but when it happens, the price skyrockets. Now, let's talk about real money. A regular 1998 half-dollar from circulation is still worth 50 cents. A brilliant uncirculated coin might bring a few dollars to a collector. But a 1998 silver proof can sell for around $30 in perfect condition. The special matte finish silver proof from the Robert F. Kennedy set, however, has been auctioned for more than $1,200 in top grades. Error coins, especially double dies and off-metal strikes, have sold for several hundred to several $1,000s, depending on the mistake and condition. The rarest examples, high-grade silver proofs with flawless surfaces, have reached over $2,000 at auction.so. Before you dismiss that $50 from 1998, take a closer look. Check for the mint mark under Kennedy's neck, inspect the edges, and examine the details under light. You never know when an ordinary-looking coin might turn out to be an extraordinary treasure. For collectors, the Kennedy $50 is more than a coin, it's a piece of American history, a work of art, and a reminder that even modern coins can hold hidden value. The 1998 issue proves that beauty, rarity, and luck can come together in one small piece of metal that just might be worth far more than 50 cents.